I built a tool that shows what no paid SEO tool can. This week, Google's own AI confirmed what it found, and the week 3 data has some numbers I didn't expect, including one site that went from 3 indexed pages to 233 in a single week. It's called SEO Prism. Let me show you. Hi, I'm Digital Kevin. The real Kevin is busy as always, but he wouldn't let me wait on this one, because this week everything came together. If you're new here, Kevin has over 40 years in IT. He's building 4 niche directory websites with AI agents, tracking their search performance across every major search engine, and sharing the real numbers as they come in. No hype, no demos, real data, real sites, almost in real time. Before I show you the numbers, let me quickly walk you through the system that makes all of this possible. If you're new, this is the context that makes everything else make sense. On the left, raw data. Every week, I export performance data from Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and now Bing Webmaster Tools. Same format, same cadence for all 4 of my directory sites. That data feeds into the center, a knowledge base built on Andrej Karpathy's LLM wiki pattern. It's not RAG, it's not a chatbot, it's a persistent, interlinked wiki that Claude maintains. Every source I add gets cross-referenced against everything that's already there. The knowledge compounds, insights get stronger over time. On the right, Claude Code, my analyst. I can ask it anything about the data, and it answers from the compiled wiki, not from raw files. It finds patterns humans miss, stores lessons permanently, and turns raw data into actions. At the bottom, the 4 directory sites. Same architecture, same tech stack, different niches, different results. That's the controlled experiment that makes the comparisons meaningful. And in the corner, SEO Prism Mission Control, the dashboard that visualizes everything in one place. Google versus Bing, positions side by side, traffic sources by search engine, weekly trends, all reading from the same data the knowledge base uses. That's the system. Now let me show you what it found this week. Week 3 data is in, and there are surprises. This is the story of the week. Dog Groomer Locator, DGL, went from 3 indexed pages to 233 in 1 week. Impressions went from 99 to over 1,000, a 930% increase. Queries tracked jumped from 32 to 257, and the site recorded 3 clicks, up from 1. What happened? 2 fixes from last week. The sitemap had 24 blog posts with dates set in the future, May 2026. Google couldn't process the sitemap. We fixed that, and both the HTML and extensionless versions of every page were indexed separately, the canonical URL problem. We fixed that with 6,000 literal redirect rules. Those 2 fixes unlocked Google's crawler. In 1 week, it went from barely knowing the site existed to indexing 233 pages, and Dog Groomers Near Me is still holding at position 8.9. Page 1, Splash Pad Locator, SPL, continues climbing. 109 clicks, up 16%, 25,690 impressions, up 21%, 81 pages now generating clicks, up from 66. Splash Pad Near Me, holding steady at position 9. Every metric is green. Here's where it gets interesting. On Google, Holistic Vet Directory, HVD, actually dipped. Clicks went from 40 to 35. Impressions from 4,100 to 3,700. Near Me queries still stuck at position 81, but Google Analytics tells a completely different story. HVD hit 715 active users this month. That's up 16% from 614 last week, the highest ever. Where are they coming from? DuckDuckGo, 241 users, up 18%. Bing, 163 users, up 27%. Yahoo, 81 users, up 21%. And Google, 31 users, down 11%. Google is declining. Every other search engine is growing. And the total traffic is at an all-time high. This is the SEO Prism insight. If you only looked at Google Search Console, you'd think HVD is struggling. The full picture shows a site with 715 users and accelerating growth. Senior Home Care Finder, SHCF, is waking up. Impressions went from 4 to 32. That's 700% growth. Queries tracked went from 1 to 11. Pages indexed went from 4 to 12. Still 0 clicks, but Google is actively crawling and matching queries for the first time since redeployment. And here's a small but interesting signal. SHCF received its first YouTube referral. Someone found the site through a YouTube video. First time any of our videos has driven traffic to a directory site. And then something happened that I didn't plan for. Google Analytics has a built-in AI advisor. You can ask it questions about your data, so I asked it the same question SEO Prism had already answered. Why does my site rank on page 1 on DuckDuckGo but page 8 on Google? Google's own AI confirmed it. DuckDuckGo, 349 sessions. Bing, 221. Yahoo, 125. Google, 38. Google's own tool is telling me that Google is my weakest search engine, and then it explained why. Google applies something called EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. For medical and veterinary queries, like holistic vet near me, Google is extremely strict. It wants backlinks from veterinary associations. It wants professional credentials. It wants authority signals that a new directory site hasn't built yet. Bing and DuckDuckGo rank the site on its content and its SEO signals. Google wants more. That's the structural explanation for the 80 position gap. It's not that the site is bad. It's that Google has a higher bar for health-related queries than other search engines do. SEO Prism surfaced the question. Google's own AI confirmed the answer. While we were validating the enhancements, I ran one of HVD's vet pages through Google's rich results test. This is the tool that tells you whether Google can read your structured data and display it as rich results in search, star ratings, FAQ dropdowns, breadcrumb trails. The FAQ schema passed, breadcrumbs passed, but the review snippets, the star ratings from Google reviews, came back with a critical error. Invalid object type for parent node. I sent the error to the HVD Claude Code session and asked it to fix the aggregate rating issue. What came back was not the fix I expected. The session looked at the template code and said, the aggregate rating is structured correctly. The address is correct. The nesting is correct. The actual problem is that Google's rich results validator doesn't support aggregate rating on the veterinarian schema type alone. Even though veterinarian inherits from local business in the schema.org specification, Google's validator is stricter. It needs to see local business explicitly. The fix was one line. Change the schema type from veterinarian to an array, veterinarian and local business together. That tells Google this is a vet practice and it's also a local business, so yes, it can have star ratings. I reran the rich results test. 5 valid items, all green. Breadcrumbs, FAQ, local businesses, organization, review snippets. From 1 critical error to 5 valid items in 20 minutes, that's now eligible for rich results in Google search, star ratings, FAQ dropdowns, breadcrumb trails for over 3,000 vet listing pages. And once again, the AI agent knew something I didn't. I would have spent hours debugging the aggregate rating nesting. The HVD session knew it was a type declaration issue and fixed it in one line. What you've been watching over the past few videos, Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Bing Webmaster Tools, all cross-referenced in one knowledge base with AI agents analyzing and fixing issues across 4 sites. I've been building this system for 3 weeks, and I'm giving it a name, SEO Prism. The idea is simple. Every SEO tool I've ever used shows you one search engine, Google, but my data proves that Google isn't the only search engine that matters. For one of my sites, it's not even in the top 3. SEO Prism takes your raw data from multiple search engines and passes it through a single system, like light through a prism, splitting it into a full spectrum of insights you can't see when you only look at one source. Here's what makes it different from other approaches. It's more than a prompt. When I start a new Claude Code session in this project, Claude reads the schema file and the index and immediately has the full context of 4 sites, 3 weeks of data, and every analysis we've ever run. I don't re-explain anything. The knowledge is precompiled. It's more powerful than RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation pulls chunks of raw documents and assembles an answer on the fly every time. SEO Prism precompiles the synthesis at ingest time, the DuckDuckGo discovery, the bot attack, the deployment failure. All of those were already compiled in the wiki before I asked about them. RAG would have to rediscover those patterns on every query, and it costs less in tokens than RAG. RAG feeds raw source documents into the context window on every query. SEO Prism front-loads the cost at ingest. A 930 kilobyte sitemap becomes a 2 kilobyte summary. Queries read the compiled wiki, not the raw data. 2 interfaces. Obsidian for browsing, click through the wiki links, check the graph view, read the analysis pages. Claude Code for interrogating, ask it anything. Which site has the best CTR trend? What's the biggest risk to my AdSense application? Claude reads the index, pulls the relevant pages, and answers with citations. It knows the data better than anyone because it built every page. Google's own AI advisor told me the first step is to link Search Console to Analytics so it can see the full picture. That's exactly what SEO Prism does, except SEO Prism links Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo data together, not just two Google products. The free step-by-step guide for setting up your own SEO Prism is on GitHub, link in the description. And because a knowledge base is powerful but not visual, I built this. SEO Prism Mission Control. Built with Fast API on the back end, React on the front end. It reads directly from the same raw data folder the knowledge base uses, no database, no uploads. Drop your export files in, refresh the page, portfolio overview, all 4 sites at a glance, clicks, impressions, average position, GA users. Week over week change arrows, green up, red down, click any card to drill into that site. Traffic sources. This is where you see the DuckDuckGo story. DuckDuckGo at 241 users, Bing at 163, Google at 31. Same architecture as Splashpad, which gets 84% from Google. Opposite profiles, visualized side by side. The Prism view. This page is built and ready. It shows Google versus Bing positions side by side for the same queries. Right now, it says awaiting Bing data. More on that in a moment. Project board. Everything we need to do, organized by status, backlog, to do, in progress, review, done, drag cards between columns, autosaves. This is how I track what the knowledge base surfaces. Every insight becomes a task. The whole thing was built with Claude Code in one session. It reads your data. You don't configure anything. I mentioned Bing Webmaster Tools. Here's where that stands. All 4 sites were verified and sitemaps submitted on April 13th. Bing said data would appear within 48 to 72 hours. It's been 3 days, and the dashboard still says, please check back in 48 hours while we prepare the data. That's taking longer than expected, but it's not unusual for new properties. When the data does arrive, the Prism view in Mission Control will light up with side-by-side Google versus Bing positions. That's the moment we confirm or disprove the hypothesis that HVD ranks dramatically higher on Bing than on Google. When that data arrives, Patreon supporters will see it first before the next YouTube video, and I'll share the full analysis in the next episode. The AdSense question. HVD now has 715 active users per month, growing 16% week over week, 84 seconds average engagement, 3,200 listings, 32 blog posts, FAQ schema validated, 5 valid structured data types, all green in Google's rich results test. Clean traffic with no bot contamination. The schema fix from this week, changing the type declaration to include local business, means those 3,200 vet pages are now eligible for star ratings in Google search results. That could significantly improve click-through rates. I'm applying for AdSense next week. The traffic is there, the content is there, the technical foundation is solid. If I get approved, you'll see it. If I get rejected, you'll see why and what I do about it. If you want to build your own SEO Prism, the free quick start guide is on GitHub. Link in the description. Create a folder, launch Claude Code, paste Carpathy's wiki paper, export your data, drop it in. 20 minutes to set up. The knowledge compounds from there. For those who want the production schema file, the detailed data ingestion prompts, and the mission control source code, I've launched a Patreon at the Practical AI Shift. $5 a month. You also get early access to content like the Bing Webmaster Tools data before it hits YouTube, behind-the-scenes analysis, and direct Q&A. Link in the description. 3 weeks of tracking, 4 sites, knowledge that compounds. Dog Groomer Locator went from 3 pages to 233 in a week because of fixes the knowledge base identified. Google's own AI confirmed why Holistic Vet Directory ranks differently on every search engine. And the schema went from 1 critical error to 5 valid items in 20 minutes. That's not AI being magic. That's a system being organized. Data in, insights out, actions taken, results measured. SEO Prism. The guide is on GitHub, the premium content is on Patreon, and the journey continues next week with Bing data. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.